Today we're going to talk about the position of the club in the hands, how it relates to the grip. We're going to talk about the club face angle, how that plays in there, a little bit about downswing and swing path, and we're going to take this in two paths. We're going to talk to you, those of you out there who do not want to practice. I'm going to call you my non-practice group. And then I'm going to talk to you about my group who's like me, who loves to practice and loves to hit balls. We're going to kind of take two paths, but we're going to get you some good quality information. And I got to tell you this, if you haven't already, hey, be sure to subscribe, ring that notification bell so that you know when we have new content coming out, because we're covering everything from bunkers to chipping to driving. Today we're talking about the grip and slicing. We've got some great stuff that can help you start playing better golf. So let's dive right into this. First of all, we're going two paths here. So I want to talk about the placement of the golf club, the grip in the hands. Now I've got my glove on here. I put this old glove on for a reason. It's a Titleist glove. And what you can tell right here, it's got a lot of wear on it. I've hit a lot of balls with this grip. And that's going to be an important part, what I'm going to tell you about here in a second. But if you're slicing the golf ball, the first place you want to look is where you're placing the grip of the club, okay, in the hands. Most people who slice the golf ball are placing it in the palm. So notice how when I position this club, I got it straight up and down. If I just grab it like that, I've got that club into my palm. Now, a couple things happen, which I'm going to show you here in a second about wrist angles and takeaway, but this is a bad position for you to be in. Where you want it to be is you want the club to be at a little bit of an angle. So I'm going to take this would be in the palm, see? And I'm going to rotate it a little bit that way. Now I'm going to place my hand on there so it starts at the base of my pinky and exits my hand through about the middle knuckle of my index finger. So you can see the difference there. Now, why did I wear this old glove? The reason I wore this old glove was because notice how much natural, even wear and tear there is on it. Okay, there's no like big hole. If you're getting holes in your glove after one round or two rounds or a couple practice sessions, something is wrong. And odds are you're maybe holding the club too much in the palm. So a glove should look like this. It should be worn, it should have some wear on it because you're hopefully practicing, right? But it should be even throughout the course of it, not a big hole in one spot. All right, so that's the first tip I want to give you. Notice where that club is at in your hands. So let's talk also now about the takeaway and the wrist angles. All right, so this first thing I want to talk to you about here is for my golfers who don't really practice at all. What I want you to look at is, well, we've already talked about the placement of the hands, so you've hopefully got that better. Now I've got my live view set up right here. I've got my mobile device in front of me. I've got my live view right here down the line. I love this product because it's live. It's live view. You get it, all right? So when you're set in there, okay, and I can visually see myself. When I move, I can see myself right here without moving around. And I've got two lines on here. I've got a red line and a second red line, one off the shaft, one just off the base of my neck. Now, the wrist angles and the takeaway is key. So those of you who do not practice and you're slicing the golf ball, here's what I want you to do. When you take that club back, I want you to feel like the logo on the glove, I got a Titleist glove on, rotates down towards the ground. Now when I do that, notice on the live view there, notice what that does, that club face. That gets that club face in a very closed position. Now why is that good if you don't practice and you slice? Well, because when that club is in a closed position, I'm going to go ahead and hit one right there. See if I can get it there. I'm going to hit it. Oh yeah, now that was pretty solid, but I could tell it was going to hook. Because when you rotate that glove down this way and get the Titleist towards the ground, that gets the club face closed, and that's going to help you fix your slice immediately. Now the question is, those of you who are doing a lot of golfing and know a lot about golf, you're like, well, wait a minute, Todd, there's a lot of other factors in there, and you're correct. So for those of you who practice, all right, here's what I want you to do. Get your good grip, same grip for everybody. I don't care if you practice or don't practice. You got to have a good solid grip. We got a couple other longer form videos just on the grip you could take a look at. But all right, here we go. Got that bottom line on the shaft. When you take that back, okay, I want that Titleist to look more kind of at you. Notice how it's looking a little bit more at you. And notice what that does, that club head right there, that's more of a square position. Now from that position, that gets the club face square. And if I've got a good golf swing, okay, I could tell, even though I hit that one into a net, it was solid, definitely was going to be a little bit higher. So that's tip number 2. When you're swinging the golf club, if you're not going to practice, first of all, I'd advise you practice, but if you're not going to practice, all right, rotate that down a little bit. If you are practicing and you're thinking more long term, okay, if you're thinking about the downswing and the swing plane, which I want to talk about here in a second, all right, you want to get that toe up a little bit. So let's talk now about After we've got that done, how does that impact our downswing? Some people call it, they talk about swing plane, a lot of these types of things. And that's why I put these two red lines on here, because that's your corridor of success. All right, so what I want you to feel, if you don't practice, this is for my non-practice. We're going to talk about those of you who like to practice in a second. Okay, you know what you're doing already. You got your good grip. You're rotating that Titleist down. Now what I want you to feel is when you get up here to the top that Titleist, that logo now looks up towards the sky. Let me demonstrate it with no club. So here we go. Towards the ground, up towards the sky. See that? See what that does to my wrist angle? Now what's that going to do to the club face? It's going to get it super closed. And believe it or not, there are a lot of great players who play from that position. All right, and they practice, but that's not a terrible position to be in, even for a great player. But if you're slicing it, that's what you're going to do. So let's work through that, and then we're going to talk about those of you who are actually doing more practice and want to be more in a neutral position. So here we go. Got my good grip. I'm going to get that Titleist going towards the ground, then towards the sky. Let me go ahead and hit one. Okay, a little thin, I could tell, because I didn't feel comfortable with where it was, because that's a little bit of a different position for me, but you get the idea. Now, let's talk about, those of you who love to practice, let's talk about that neutral position, long-term plan, okay? So we know where we're at with the grip. This is why I love the live view. See, I can just set right back up here. I'm hitting another shot. Don't even have to move. Set right in here. Okay, here we go. I'm going neutral now. The logo's kind of looking at you at the camera, okay? Now when I go up, now I want to feel like my thumbs get more underneath the club, okay? So when I get it up here to the top, my thumbs, see how my thumbs are kind of underneath the club there? That's going to get the club face in more of a square position. Okay, so Titleist at U, here we go. And then I'm going to take it up to the top, get my thumbs underneath. Oh yeah, I like that spot right there. Okay, it's the beauty of live view. I can take it up and look at it, feel versus real. You've heard that before. All right, let me see if I can replicate that. That felt pretty good, maybe a little bit on the toe, but I could tell it was nice and high. So next time you head to the golf course, if you're slicing the golf ball, you got to look at your grip. All right, if you're not going to practice, get that good grip. We talked about that. That's for everybody. If you're not going to practice, get that Titleist to the ground, lower to the ground, get it up towards the sky. If you like to practice, you got to be more neutral. It's going to open up more shots into your game and help you to become a better player long term. Get set in there, get the Titleist looking at the camera, get your thumbs underneath. If you do that, that's going to help you drop that club right into the slot, right where we want it, okay, right from the inside, and help you start hitting nice high draws and eventually get rid of that nasty slice.